New York isn't just Times Square, Broadway, and overpriced coffee. Hidden beyond the shiny skyline are places that'll make you question if you're still in the Empire State. Welcome to our list of 10 towns in New York you should never move to. And trust me, if your GPS reroutes you into any of these spots, keep driving. This isn't the New York you think you know. We're diving into towns so infamous, they make relocating here feel more like signing up for a stress test. We're talking crumbling economies, skyrocketing crime rates, and vibes so off that even longtime locals are packing up and ghosting. If you think you're chasing the dream of living in New York, what you might actually find is a one-way ticket to regret. Whether you're planning a move, flipping through a New York State guide, or adding stops to your travel bucket list, this countdown will show you exactly which towns to avoid like a toxic ex. And spoiler alert, some of these places are nothing like what the real estate brochures claim. Stick around because by the end of this list, you'll either thank me or be checking your lease terms. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to Fact Zone Planet for more truths you won't find in the travel guides. Number 10. Jamestown. Ever walked into a town and felt like optimism packed up and left years ago? That's Jamestown. On paper, it's a quiet city in Chautauqua County. In reality, it's like a rerun of a 1980s economic downturn that no one bothered to cancel. The crime rate here is a staggering 42 per 1,000 residents, meaning you've got about a 1 in 24 chance of becoming a victim, according to Neighborhood Scout. Not exactly the Pearl City they claim to be, more like cubic zirconia with a cracked setting. The median household income hovers around $41,923, and more than a quarter of the population lives below the poverty line. If you're looking for opportunity, Jamestown might leave you shortchanged in more ways than one. Number 9. Troy. They call it the Collar City, but honestly, it feels more like a straitjacket. Once a booming industrial hub along the Hudson River, home to shirt factories, steelworks, and innovation, Troy's glory days are long gone. The crime rate? 39.8 per 1,000 residents, which gives you about a 1 in 25 chance of getting caught in something nasty. And it's not just petty theft. We're talking violent crimes, assaults, and break-ins, like it's some kind of competitive sport. The median household income here is $50,048, but with a poverty rate pushing 21%, 1 in 5 people is struggling to keep the lights on. Add rising rent and a weak job market, and you've got the perfect storm for economic frustration. Sure, there are some charming old buildings and Hudson River views, but for many residents, the struggles outweigh the scenery. Number 8. Schenectady. Blink and you might miss it, but trust me, your wallet and peace of mind won't. Once the proud hometown of General Electric, Schenectady now feels like someone unplugged the city and forgot to plug it back in. The crime rate stands at 39.3 per 1,000 residents, giving you a 1 in 25 chance of being a victim. Violent crime, property crime, car theft, you name it, they've got it. The median household income is about $54,150. But with 20% of residents living in poverty, many people are stuck in survival mode. Inflation only makes things worse, chewing up paychecks like a raccoon in a dumpster. And while parts of Schenectady have charming streets and historic buildings, take the wrong turn, and you're in a neighborhood where the sidewalks crumble, half the stores are shuttered, and that "for rent" sign has been fading since Obama's first term. The local government is trying, offering tax credits, business grants, and art installations, but so far, it's like duct taping a sinking canoe. Number 7. Utica. Looking for a budget-friendly spot in New York? You stumble across Utica. Affordable homes, charming historic neighborhoods, scenic upstate vibes. Sounds like a steal, right? Well, it is a steal, just maybe not the kind you were hoping for. Utica's crime rate is 39.4 per 1,000 residents, giving you about a 1 in 25 chance of ending up in the evening news. Property crimes dominate, but violent crime isn't shy either. And no, that siren outside your apartment window isn't a quirky city soundtrack. The median household income here is $46,130, but the poverty rate? A staggering 29.3%. That's nearly 1 in 3 people living below the poverty line. Sure, you might find a house under $120,000, but there's a reason nobody's fighting you at the open house. To be fair, Utica does have bright spots: a diverse food scene, a strong immigrant community, and an almost cult-like local love for chicken riggies. But pasta won't pay the bills, and diversity doesn't protect your catalytic converter. Revitalization efforts are happening. New lofts, trendy breweries, art walks. But most schools are underfunded, and many neighborhoods are still recovering from economic decay that started in the 80s. And those affordable homes? Think drafty Victorians with DIY wiring, questionable basements, and roofs that whisper, "Not one more winter." Number 6. Binghamton. Step into Binghamton and you might feel déjà vu, not because it's quaint, but because the city seems permanently stuck on buffering. Every push for progress gets slowed down by potholes the size of kiddie pools. The crime rate sits at 38.5 per 1,000 residents, a 1 in 26 chance of becoming a victim. We're talking violent crime, break-ins, property theft. It's all here, like your least favorite song stuck on repeat. The median household income? $44,331, with over 21% of residents living below the poverty line. That's not tight budget territory. That's coupon cutting, skip the doctor and hope you don't get sick territory. Unless you're in healthcare, higher education, or working remotely for Silicon Valley wages, the job market feels like a game of musical chairs, with most of the chairs broken. Sure, Binghamton University is a bright spot, but while students get shiny new dorms, many longtime residents are left with underfunded schools, overburdened social services, and roads that make wheel alignments a monthly ritual. Number 5. Niagara Falls. Halfway through the countdown, and we're heading to a city with one of the world's most famous natural wonders. You'd think that would mean prosperity, right? Wrong. Step a few blocks away from the mist of Niagara Falls, and it's like someone pulled the plug on the American dream. The crime rate here is 48.3 per 1,000 residents. That's a 1 in 21 chance of becoming a victim. And this isn't just petty theft. We're talking assaults, robberies, and shootings. The median household income is $43,064, and over 25% of the population lives below the poverty line. That's not just a red flag. It's a full carnival of them waving in unison. Tourist dollars? They mostly go to big hotels and corporations, not local residents. Meanwhile, the city struggles to pay for basic infrastructure. Niagara Falls may have breathtaking views, but living here is anything but picture perfect. Number 4. Syracuse. Syracuse has personality, but it's the kind of personality you'd expect from a burnt-out college student with back pain and trust issues. Yes, Syracuse University brings sports hype and school spirit, but step off campus and the atmosphere shifts fast. From rah-rah to how soon can I leave? The crime rate here is 41.8 per 1,000 residents, a 1 in 24 chance of becoming part of the next police report. Porch pirates? Basically part of the neighborhood watch at this point. The median household income is $45,845, paired with a poverty rate of 29.6%. Nearly a third of the population living in poverty. That's not a warning sign. That's a flare gun straight into the sky. Yes, downtown has some revitalization, hip cafes, pricey condos, a shiny new amphitheater, but for many residents, that's just window dressing on deeper economic struggles. Number 3. Rochester. Rochester doesn't just make this list, it kicks the door down like it's got something to prove. And apparently, what it's proving is how fast a city can go from booming to completely boomed out. The crime rate here is 58.1 per 1,000 residents, making it the most dangerous city on this list so far. That's a 1 in 17 chance of getting caught up in something you'll be telling your therapist about. Violent crime is rampant. Assaults, armed robberies, shootings, and property crime isn't exactly taking a vacation either. And it's not just one sketchy part of town. From the west side to the inner loop, crime maps look like a paintball war zone. Residents know the drill. Lock everything, don't walk alone after dark, and always know where the nearest working streetlight is. Number 2. Buffalo. Buffalo, the Queen City, the city of good neighbors. Nice nicknames for a place where crime, poverty, and brutal winters team up like the most dysfunctional superhero squad you never asked for. The crime rate sits at 42.5 per 1,000 residents, giving you about a 1 in 23 chance of being a victim. And we're not just talking about shady back alleys downtown. Crime is sprinkled throughout the city like salt on chicken wings, a little too liberally, and never where you want it. The median household income is $48,150, but with a poverty rate of 27.4%, more than a quarter of the city is living paycheck to paycheck, sometimes without the paycheck. Buffalo is working hard to rebrand itself as a tech-friendly, up-and-coming metro, but those numbers still scream Rust Belt hangover. Yes, downtown has shiny new buildings and trendy restaurants, but step outside the gentrified zones and you'll find cracked sidewalks, food deserts, and neighborhoods where opportunity took the last train out. It's the tale of two Buffaloes, one for tourists and investors, and one surviving on resilience and instant noodles. And here it is, the town you should absolutely, positively never move to. Welcome to Newberg, not to be confused with the charming photos you might stumble across online. Because behind every glossy drone shot of the Hudson River lies a reality that'll make even your GPS second-guess the route. Newberg has one of the highest crime rates in the entire country, not just New York. 40.3 crimes per 1,000 residents. That's a 1 in 25 chance of something bad happening. And that's just what's reported. The median household income is $46,303, with nearly 26% of the population living in poverty. City services are stretched thin, schools are underfunded, and basic infrastructure, like safe sidewalks and working streetlights, feels more like a luxury than a given. Yes, there's potential here. Historic architecture, Hudson River views, an emerging arts scene. But potential doesn't fill potholes or stop your car from getting broken into for the third time this month. And in Newberg, neighborhood safety can change block to block in the blink of an eye. So there you have it, the 10 towns in New York you should never move to. From snowbound struggles to economic sinkholes, these places might look fine on Zillow, but they carry baggage you do not want to unpack. Have you lived in any of these towns? Thought about moving? Or did this video save you from making a huge mistake? Let us know in the comments. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button, subscribe to Fact Zone Planet, and hit the bell so you never miss another reality check. And remember, just because a town is cheap doesn't mean it's worth the cost. See you in the next one.